Welcome, one and all. It's Mr. Christopher and my illustrious co-host Jeff Page on this side.
What's up happening? What's happening up? What's up happening?
You know, you kind of got your I kind of feel, you know, the past couple times we talked on the phone, when you answer the phone, I go, like half dog, half seal. That's what I need to do. That's it. That's what I need to do. A little la 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 he he he.
We need to start your intro again so I can do it for you.
Hold on. That's Michael Gabriel, if you don't know.
Yes.
Are you doing the introduction? Go ahead.
You do it. I was going to do the sound for you. Welcome to Funkatopia. We've got the host of Funkatopia Live, Mr. Christopher. And I am the illustrious co-host, Jeff Page.
I can't do the la 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 he he one. I just got to do. Okay, welcome one and all. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Christopher. My co-host, Jeff Page, is in the house. And today, you know, we don't even have any news. This is kind of like a free-for-all type of thing.
Hang out.
And we're just going to be hanging out with you guys and talking about a topic that came up surprisingly out of the blue. There was no warning. Matter of fact, no pomp and circumstance, no...
Bing,
nothing.
bing,
it was just like,
it was just...
guys, hello. Celebration. It said save the date, June 8th through June 11th. We got to say hello to all these fine people in the house. Hello, Kimberly, David, Joni, Krista, Anisha, Kiaria, Dave. Already said that. Carrie's in the house. Susan.
Yeah, Greg
is in the house from cold Milwaukee. Where else all you other fine folks from? Of course, Laura from Canada is in the house. Yep.
Yes. Can't leave out our Canadians.
No, cannot. You know, Lee Fallon in the cold. It's not.
What's up, David? How you doing?
Anastasia says, still recovering from the bombshell. Robin, Joni's calling in from NYC. Maureen from Boston. Diane from Minnesota. Man, we got lots of fine folks out here. Yeah, but yes. So look, Jeff Page, I didn't really have an opportunity to speak with you since my last text. I'm going to assume no to my last text about. Just look at your last text and tell me yes or no. I'm assuming it's going to be no.
Oh, no.
Susan from North Carolina, home with Shelby J. That's right, yo. No.
Yes.
So basically what that means is we know about what you know, but here's what we can tell you. This show is really going to be kind of to talk a little bit about the celebration, some of the expectations that people have for the celebration, but also to kind of it's really kind of geared for the newbies. But one of the things that I had asked, you know, I did a post because, you know, obviously with the release of Celebration, you know, a lot of people want to know, you know, what is it that you guys want from the celebration, especially people that have already been there. And so I kind of did this post on Facebook, and I was asking like a lot of different questions. What is it that you want to see at the celebrations? What do you want? If you're on the fence, what would change your mind? What, you know, maybe you said, I've been to celebrations before. It's cool. I really, really like it. But you know, maybe not this year. I don't know what it may have been. If you've never been, what would you want to see for it to meet your expectations? And if you've been to many of them, like I have, what do you not want to see any more of? Or maybe if you're going to consider going again,
right?
You know, what's keeping you coming back? You know,
exactly. What keeps you coming back? And keep in mind, this is the pre-show part, so get your thinking caps and, you know, your brain going, get those juices flowing. So when we actually go into show mode, you know, it's going to be, you know, we're going to look at your questions and we're going to answer them or talk about them, just discuss. This is like you said, it's a hangout, free for all thing. I'm a Bob thing, whatever.
And while typically this would qualify for a pre-show, we're just starting talking.
Right.
It's just kind of like, yeah, no need to really wait until 8 o'clock. But we can talk about a few things to waste a little bit of time until 8 p.m. Normally we do start a little bit earlier so that we can kind of, welcome everybody in and just say hello and whatnot, and just kind of get to know you fine folk out there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's one thing I can say. Kudos to the estate or Paisley Park. I'm not exactly sure who's pulling the strings in this particular scenario. I'm assuming that the state is definitely doing it. Paisley Park is where the event will be held. But New Year's Eve was also held at Paisley Park as well, and they didn't say anything. In this particular case, Celebration is being held at Paisley Park, and they are saying something. And I might add, a good bit in advance.
Yeah.
If you guys remember last year with Celebration, it was not that far in advance.
I agree. They really took their time last year, and I'm personally glad they said something sooner. People can prepare, they can schedule better, get that time off work without a fight as you battle for schedules.
Yeah, I think I guess Anisha brings up something that's okay. Yeah, so let's start here. Anisha, I want you to hold on to that, or is it Anisha or Anisha? I'm assuming it could be either one. But here's just so we kind of star that comment. Sure, there's a way we can star there's a way we can star that comment. Anisha says no more food trucks or outdoor hanging out, and more live performances. Okay, so let's start it. Let's start here. I don't want to start off with necessarily anything that could be perceived as negative about the celebration. I really don't. We obviously don't want to go there. We want a lot of people to come. So let's start here. First off, and I'm actually going to be looking at the Facebook post that we did to kind of read your comments. I know Kiaria said I read a long reply on Facebook, so we're going to look at that. Here's what I can tell you. For those who have never been to Celebration, a lot of people are like, what do you expect? What exactly is going on? Why would I want to come to this? Prince is no longer with us. What happens here that makes Celebration such a thing in the first place? And here's what I can tell you. If you are a Prince fan, you owe it to yourself to at least get to at least one celebration. You have to go.
Right.
I've been to multiple celebrations, even after his passing, just because of the fact that it really is. You've heard me say this probably 100 times on the show, that Prince fans, we are in a bubble. We are so much in a bubble that we just assume that everything is princely and purple. But you go out to the real world, you go out to work, it's very rare that you run into another hardcore Prince fan, somebody who knows the discography, somebody who knows as many Prince songs as you do, somebody who can tell you tracks outside of the first 4 albums. Right. It's very, very rare that you run into that level of Prince fandom. The Celebration is a time to really, it is so cathartic for Prince fans, because it is all of the Prince fanatics just kind of coming into one place, Prince's home, which is Paisley Park, his recording studio. I don't want any people to start fighting me about it. He really didn't live there. Okay. It's Prince's home. Okay. We're just going to call it what it is. It's his recording studio. It's
Ground Central.
It's Ground Central.
Ground Zero. There it is.
Yeah. Ground Zero. So all that being said, it's a bunch of Prince fans that all end up here and they party together and they have a great time together. They listen to music together. They geek out on all things purple together. It's everything that you would want as a Prince fan. And it really will feed that. It really does feed your purple for sure. Every single every single aspect, it really feels it. I mean, obviously the
Yeah.
only thing is that obviously Prince is not there, but it's okay because they always do something at the celebration that really kind of helps connect everything for you. If you've never seen Prince in concert, I know, three, well, not, I think pretty much all the celebrations since his passing, they have gone through the process of choreographing a live concert of Prince's with Prince on the big screen, and then the actual band members, as much as possible they can,
Amazing.
will be on stage playing the instruments live and doing everything that you possibly could imagine that they did on stage back then. Last year they had NPG just reenacting this whole entire show. And the only thing that's missing, obviously, is Prince, but he's right there on the big screen. So just imagine you had crappy seats at a show, and that was the only way you were going to be able to get to see him close when you're looking up on the screen. And that's the only thing so they do as much as they possibly can to kind of recreate a vibe for you to just envelop you in all things Prince and all things purple.
Really do. Really do.
And go ahead.
Yeah, and this for newbies or anyone who has never been and wants to go, if you've ever been in a situation where you heard a song and wanted to just let your hair down or like just let loose, you're in the company of everyone who gets it. And so there's no shy, worried, oh my gosh, did I just do that kind of stuff? It's, go listen to Uptown. Just let yourself go. And that's what you're going to be around. Everyone who's, no matter who you are or what you're doing, it's okay. And that's kind of cool. So,
Yeah,
that's what I found.
And you're going to see all types of different things. You're going to see people in all dressed up as, dressed up to the nines. And it's very, very cool. It is a very cool, great experience. You get to meet people that you only see online. Like you'll see us, you'll be able to see a lot of people that you maybe watch some of the shows. Maybe you'll see Princess Friend. Maybe you'll see Michael Dean, all these people that Craig, all these people are there and you get to hang out. And on top of that, a lot of the people that are related to Prince in various forms, within his band, such as various NPG members. Shelby J be walking around, Liv Warfield be walking around, Andre Simone may be walking around. So there's all these types of things where it's just so much. It really is a time for you to geek out on all things Prince and
learn something. Learn something.
Yeah. And you definitely will learn something for sure. There's no way around that. You're going to learn. There's we always I kind of feel like I'm a walking encyclopedia of all things Prince, but it never fails that I kind of go in there and I'm like, what
walk out of there with something new. Like, I did not know that.
And sometimes if I don't know something, I will like quietly go to the people that know everything and I'll ask them, hey, before I go public and say, I don't know what this is. Do you know what this is? For instance, let me give you an example. When they announced the celebration, what they did is they put this on Twitter, I guess it was, and hopefully it will play without any issues, but because I'm doing it from my computer, but this is what they played. So hopefully it'll pop up without too much issue. Okay. So much for that issue. But well, and I think now that it's all the way uploaded, it might play okay. Right. Anyways,
Yeah.
you get the point. The point of this being, and I didn't want to play it too much, but it's okay that it kind of broke up because God knows whether or not they've gone through the process of doing whatever. But the first thing was the song that they have playing there. I've never heard that. I don't know what it is. It's a remix of something. And so I immediately went to a few people that I know are like hardcore collectors. And I said, this clip that they're playing behind this video loop, it sounds like it's obviously a remix. It pulls stuff from Diamonds and Pearls. It pulls stuff from it. It's a remix, obviously, of a what is this? And one person totally ghosted me, I think because he didn't know. Another person said, I was hoping that you'd know. And so now I feel confident that I've never heard this remix or whatever it is. And so if somebody knows what that is or where we can get a hold of it, I'd really love to hear like the entire version. But so that's the first thing is, once again, here we go. This is what I found very, very interesting about this is that first off, they were focusing on 7, being that 2023, if you take 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 equals 7. I don't know what, obviously we know Prince had a big thing with the number 7 for a variety of different reasons, for religious reasons and, whatever. But why was that significant? Why was that significant as part of the major announcement that they were making? I mean, I know it's for this, it's the 7th year since his passing, but there could be that. Oh, and there's Andre's statements at 7 years. But it feels like there's more. It feels like this is more, but maybe that's all that it is. It's a 7th celebration since his passing, but it's not the 7th celebration since his passing. It's been 7 years, but I think there was 2 years in there, I think, that they didn't do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of 7s.
Yeah, it could be a variety of different things, the reasoning for them focusing on 7, but I'm curious if there's more to it in the marketing of it. Yeah, I mean, as Sylvia says, 7 years since he passed. Okay, all right. But it just seems like there's more to it in the way that they're marketing it, like there's something else that's going to be going on. So it will be, yeah.
And I really like the groove, though. I'll just say that, man. I really like that groove. I'm like, oh, okay. I need to hear more of that.
Matter of fact, I think what I want to do is I'm gonna upload it. I'm gonna upload it here so we can hear it. I'm going to upload it here so we can hear it without the stutter step. It's feeding from my computer up to our system here. So I want to play it without interruption, whatever. And then hopefully you guys will be able to.
You got to hear it, don't you know?
Yeah, you got to hear it without really interruption. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's basically what my question was that, the significance of the 7, and what was also curious to me as well was the song they've layered in the back, because one of the main things that people have been saying repeatedly is that they are really concerned, that they really want to hear new music. And so here's this video clip. Now that it's uploaded, let's see if we can go ahead and play it. And hopefully it's not going to kick everybody off of YouTube. Hopefully they haven't gone ahead and pushed this out for a video clip, but we're going to do it anyways. Let's take a listen. Here we go. All right, listen. So there's this. So that's the audio clip. That's the full audio clip that they played with this to announce the celebration. And I thought, okay, that's new. Now it was just a loop. That was a and it was, so it is a loop. So it's obviously, some type of probably temporary remix somebody put together, but it also does say just something new that we might maybe considering come in. Well, I don't know. So
I mean, it may speak to the performance they're going to do. I mean, there's just so much, so many possibilities. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of mystery surrounding this. I love the fact that they actually went through the process of announcing it this far in advance. So again, I know that people from the estate and from people from Paisley Park watch us. I know because you guys send me emails sometimes. Not always friendly, but that's
not always good emails, right?
Not always good. It's okay. All right.
I oughta.
Oh, a little C&D never hurt anybody. So, but that's kind of what hats off to you guys for announcing it this far in advance and allowing people to be able to make appropriate plans so we can actually strategize about it. Because I just think it's really, really cool that we got this much in advance. Unfortunately, I told you I'm actually going to be out of town, and I get back in town on June 4th, which is that Sunday. So I'm going to be home for like 3 days, and then I have to turn around and get back on a plane and go to Minneapolis. Yeah. So Joni Tail saying what they're saying is that this one is not to be missed. Okay.
Hey.
Well,
that's very possible. Very possible. I would believe that.
I don't know. Anyways, we're all excited because I know that there is a lot of pie in the sky, high hopes, and things that are happening since the guards have, since the powers that be have kind of changed hands.
Changing to the guards.
Family, that they're actually going to be doing things a lot more. They're going to be a lot more loose with a lot of things that used to have a really, really tight grip. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening. Now, here's what I can tell you. All right. So we're going back to the newbie scenario. And I am going to be switching over here to the Facebook page to read your comments and whatnot. I'm going to avoid reading the negative ones unless they are presented in a way that is more recommendation or suggestion, maybe with
something valid, legitimate,
but not pissy. We're not going to do those. Especially ones that take slights at certain individuals. So we're not going to do those, but I do want to read some of your comments, but I'm going to take a step back here again to kind of address this for the newbies. And let's talk about the newbies for a second. For those who have not been to the celebration, as I told you before, this is a really, really great event if you're a Prince fan, because it's hundreds of Prince fans that all descend upon Chanhassen, Minnesota. And what's really, really cool, and this kind of goes outside of the celebration as well, and not to say that this is the primary reason why you should be here is for the celebration, but what also happens is there are a lot of external events that happen in Minnesota during that window. Now, normally, sometimes that window starts a little bit early and goes a little bit later. So, for instance, if the celebration is June 8th through 11th, which it is,
right.
What would typically happen is maybe June 7th, there'll be an event. Matter of fact, we already know that there's an event that Jelly Bean Johnson is doing on the 7th that is happening where he's actually speaking with another group of people. I'm trying to find, if somebody could send me a link. I've got all my famous Funkatopian producers out there. If you guys could find that link for Jelly Bean's event, but he's supposed to be doing some type of panel with a bunch of other individuals, and they're going to be sharing Prince stories and stuff. And that's happening the night before. But I also know that there will be some conflict that's happening there as well, because there's always events that happen randomly throughout. LP might be there, which is Eric Leeds and Paul Peterson's project. LP will probably be somewhere in the mix, somewhere out there. Maybe NPG might drop around, or various members of, Liv Warfield might do a show, or Shelby J might do a show. So you never know who's going to pop up. Jesse Johnson may pop up at Bunkers. There's always people that are popping up at other venues around town, and it's
Right.
somewhere around. This is, again, I'm trying to address Celebration for newbies to kind of tell you what you can expect. We do not know. We do not have the schedule. We do not know who is going to be performing. We don't know the specific times of the events. There's some minutia like transportation and things like that that are always up in the air, the host hotel, things like that. Those are just things that when tickets go on sale, those are still things that they may be trying to settle in on, trying to figure out, trying to work the best deal with the hotels for people, trying to find the best central location.
Right.
Normally, I can tell you that in the past, the majority of host hotels have been in Bloomington, Minnesota. For those that don't know Minnesota, let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Let's just say that this is Minnesota. Let's not do that because we got visual. If you can just imagine a circle, okay? In the southeast part of that circle, or actually southwest part of that circle, would be Chanhassen. In the middle of the circle would be Minneapolis. Just south of Minneapolis, south of that circle, would be Bloomington, which is kind of where your airport and everything else would be. And then north of Minneapolis would be places like St. Paul. And those are like typically the places that the various events will be happening. Everything will be happening in Chanhassen. And what normally happens as far as the celebration is concerned, but what normally happens is that people get hotels and everything in Chanhassen just because they want to be close to the venue. But I can tell you that's not always a good idea because there's so many things that may be happening away from Chanhassen that may not have to do with the celebration, and you'll find yourself doing a lot of driving. So normally that Bloomington, Minnesota area right next to the Mall of America, which is the largest mall in the United States, what normally happens is that getting a location somewhere around there, it's about a 15-minute drive to Chanhassen and about a 15-minute drive to Minneapolis, maybe a 30-minute drive up to St. Paul. So if you're kind of like in the corner of an L, and it just kind of makes things a little bit easier for you to get around and do whatnot. But here's what I can also tell you is that you may want to wait until they announce the host hotel, because what also happens is that if there's going to be any type of musical acts, which you obviously hope there's going to be musical acts, if there's going to be any musical acts there, they're going to be staying at that host hotel because that is part of the deal that they will have with Paisley Park. Is they'll say, we'll put you up in the host hotel. That's where, you'll be able to stay in Minneapolis, at this location for free. So you have a much better chance at running into a massive amount of Prince fans there and some of the stars and people that are playing the event. You will regularly run into people if you stay at the host hotel. That's what I can tell you.
Right. And hopefully they'll let us know that stuff soon so we can help spread the word for everybody to be prepared and to try to get those rooms, because as soon as they announce it, you do not want to waste time. Once the word out of where the host hotel is and all that, tickets, people are going to just start buying up the rooms. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. VIP normally sells out first and quickest. General admission, I think the past couple of years, general admission has not sold out. I want to say even all the way up until like a week before. But if you only can get general admission tickets, it's worth just doing general admission.
It really
just because you can have so much fun. I will tell you, I have never gone to a celebration as VIP ever. Every single celebration I've been to, I've been with the general admission, and I've always had an amazing time. There's always been some things that I was envious of that the VIP folks got to do, that sit in on recording sessions and stuff. I'm envious of that stuff, where they'll get takeaways and collectible items like a photograph that's signed by Steve Park that they get. Who knows? There's always things that the VIP people get that I was envious of, better seats, whatever. But I always had just a great time on general admission. And I just always have. here's what I can tell you too, is that all the celebrations that I've been to, they separated out in groups. So you'll have a group A and you'll have a group B, sometimes a group C. So not all, as I saw somebody say something to the effect of, is there normally hundreds or thousands of people there? I don't remember what the number was. I want to say
me neither.
there's hundreds. There's hundreds of folks,
easily.
not thousands, not thousands.
Mm-mm.
Now some of the external events would be thousands, like when they did the unveiling of the Prince mural in downtown Minneapolis, that brought thousands, but those people weren't at the celebration because it was a general, everybody can come to this event, just come and enjoy, have a good time and listen to bands. And that's it. And unveil the mural.
Mm-hmm.
So there's normally thousands of people there. But for the celebration itself, it's hundreds, and they separate people off into groups. So one group will be able to see a band or be able to see a certain, whether it's a live act or something. Let's just say they're there from 1 to 3, and then it switches over, and then group B comes in and they see that same thing that they just saw from 3 to 5. And then the groups will flip back and forth in the schedule. It's just, so you have a whole day that's packed full of things, and the groups are just kind of intertwining and moving in congruence with each other. And it works out fine, because that way it's nothing's too packed. They do a pretty good job of kind of keeping everything.
Yeah, and they also did a really good job with the shuttles and working out that movement from the host hotel and from other hotels, just getting things around. They did a pretty good job with overall getting those schedules and getting people where they needed to be and shuffling them around. And it was pretty smooth. You had options if you chose to drive, of course, but chose to drove, past tense. There I am. However, not knowing what they're doing this year, last year you could not park at Paisley Park, so you did have to park down in other places, and
yes,
so be aware of that. But it's not like we know for sure that they'll never let anyone. We just have to kind of wait and see what comes forward as they talk about it.
Yeah, there is what they did is that if you stayed at the hostel, they actually had two there was one host hotel, but they did transportation from two separate hotels. One was in downtown Minneapolis, and one was the Renaissance, and which was in Bloomington. And what they would do is that if you were staying at the hotel, all you had to do was come downstairs to the lobby and get on the bus, and they would take you. If you weren't staying at one of those two hotels, you essentially had to drive to the Renaissance Hotel and just park in their parking lot and get on the tour bus from there, or not tour bus, or get on the bus, the shuttle. And that would take you to Paisley Park. As Jeff Page said, you could not drive to Paisley Park. In the past, VIP used to be able to park on site at Paisley Park. That was one of the offerings of being a VIP, is that they gave you the capability to be able to park. There was another thing that a lot of people were doing when they were driving is they were parking at Riley Creek Park, which for those who don't know, that's where Graffiti Bridge is, which is directly across the street from Paisley Park. And if you're standing in front of Paisley Park, if you've never been to Paisley Park, I'll try to describe it visually for you. In Paisley Park, in front of Paisley Park, there is a golf cart path outside on the other side of the fence. There's a golf cart path that goes down the front of Paisley Park, and then it kind of goes down and under the highway. That is a 4 or 6 lane highway. I can't remember if it's 4 or 6 lanes. I want to say it's 2 lanes going east and 2 lanes going west. But anyways, the golf cart goes underneath that highway and then comes out on the other side, and that's Riley Creek. And that's where there are 3 separate bridges and tunnels that Prince fans have graffitied with, various messages and signs. And there's even a fence where people have attached memorabilia, and it's a beautiful, really, and both mayors that have been mayor of Chanhassen have said they are never going to erase any of the graffiti that's there unless it's inappropriate or vulgar. or has
Right.
profanity, they will erase over that. But anything that is just an homage to Prince, they are leaving that in place. So they're never going to remove any of that stuff. So it's, it's a
And
really, really cool thing. It's one of the things you got to experience. So the whole point of that being is that some people were actually driving their rental cars over to Riley Creek Park, parking there, and then walking that golf cart path underneath the highway and over to Paisley Park. And that's what they were doing. However, and that is not ordained by the city of Chanhassen. So they really kind of were taking a risk that Chanhassen may tow the car.
right.
However, everybody that we talked to said, nope, I did it every single night. Never, they just kind of left it alone, because as long as it's kind of within reasonable hours, they just assume there's somebody walking around the park, and you don't know who's there at the park and who's actually over there at across the street at Paisley Park. You just don't know. Because it is actually an actual park that has baseball fields and tennis courts and, walking paths around lakes and stuff and creeks.
Yeah.
So there's options that you can do, because some people wanted to do that because they didn't want to wait for the shuttle bus. They didn't want to, have to go back to the hotel, and then they got to get in a car and then they go back to their other hotel if they're not staying at one of those hotels.
Right.
So transportation was a whole thing. So I don't know if they will try to perfect that, or if they'll work with the city of Chanhassen and say, during these days, can our people be allowed to park over there without the threat of being towed? And I don't know that they will do that, because if they make that known, the amount of parking that's over there is not a lot.
It is very limited.
Not a
It really
lot of parking over there. So if everybody did that, it probably would be a big thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, it is. I'm sorry, Lake Ann Park. Thank you, Arlene. I kept saying Riley Creek Park, but Riley Creek is the name of the where the graffiti bridge stuff is. But anyways, and Prince would always ride his bike on those paths too. So, if you wanted to kind of see some of the things that he saw over there, it's just a really amazing little
It actually is. And I remember, and when we walked through it, like my first time walking through it was just kind of like, wow, this is really cool. Some of the graffiti, some of the stuff people put up is just like, that's really cool. That's impressive. So, and then just the fact that WTF, there it is. Not everything was ridiculous. Some things were just very simple, but it's like, yeah, that's your homage. That's your thing. So
right.
It was nice. It was nice stuff.
Yeah, we didn't say that at the beginning of the show, but WTF, welcome to Funkatopia. I was showcasing, for those of you who are visual, I am showcasing the coffee mugs, welcome to Funkatopia coffee mugs that we have. We sold out, but I've got some more coming, and so I'll make some more if we need to do it. But anyways,
and I'm gonna say on your behalf, just so everybody remembers or aware, that these are handmade, like custom designed per order. So it's not like you're getting something that's just sitting on the shelf in inventory. So per order, these things get designed out and sent. So be aware of that. That's pretty special in itself. And it takes a little bit longer.
These WTF welcome to Funkatopia coffee mugs, I did not pre-order 100 of them, and I have boxes of them sitting here. As people order them, I actually make these mugs. I actually got a sublimation machine and I actually make these WTF welcome to Funkatopia mugs. Actually make them in-house. So right now there's 0. And so when I get them, they don't have anything on them, and they are handmade.
Spit shined.
Yeah, I spit. I won't say what I use for. Never mind. Let's talk about celebration. Anyways, yes, if you guys have ordered it, it's on the way. I think there's only one person that ordered. Greg, I think it was you, and it wasn't being sent to you. You had it being sent to someone else, somebody else. I won't say who. But yes, your mega shirt coming. Greg's probably like, did I do that?
Did I do that?
Yeah. So yeah, all the mugs everything was all sent out. Everything is done. I think, Greg, yours just sent out today.
I haven't ordered my mug yet.
I had to find a box to accommodate. I apologize for the box it's in. It's not a Funkatopia box or a plain box. It's
just add batteries. What kind of box is that?
Tell us about the box. Have you ever heard of this drink called Poppy? Poppi?
No.
It's a soda that has I guess B12 and a bunch of different vitamins and stuff. It's supposed to be good for you soda, and Jaden loves it. And so I ordered a case of it on Amazon because it was cheaper, because it's like $2.49 a can, which is insane. So I just bought it on Amazon. And so the box that you're getting is a poppy box, because it was perfectly fit the mug.
Let's make sure we confirm this. This is Poppy, not Poppy, right?
Poppy. Hi, Poppy. Like the soda.
There's two different type of boxes right there.
Your soda's so nice. I like your box. Anyways, yeah, we're going south by southwest. Anyways, celebration. Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope that you guys have a fantastic. Yes, Greg, it was your wife's office. You're going to have a great time at the celebration, and I can tell you, if you are thinking about going or you're on the fence, do it. Just go ahead and mark the dates out and just plan to go. It really would not make sense for me to go, considering that I'm going to be out of town and just getting back in town, and to turn around and do it. It's just like,
go.
My work is like, what's happening here? You're already gone for like a week prior, and now you want to, and the week you come back, you want to go again. It was like, yes.
Right. And anyone who's on the fence because of this whole thing about not going alone and all that stuff,
don't worry about
go anyways, because this is family. You're going to be around so many people that are of like mind. I promise you there's going to be some sort of bond, and people end up getting together and going places together, just packing it up and go. So don't even worry about whether you have someone to go with you. You will find people to hang with. I made a comment, I think it was the last show we did, when we were talking about the other event that was happening at Paisley Park, and I was like, don't go alone, and like bring a date or something. And I felt like a couple of people were like a little bothered by that. And I kind of want to, since I'm saying that wasn't meant to slight anyone who didn't have a date, but it's just the way it was marketed was more like this is a couple's kind of a group thing. So,
I think it was the Pajama Jam one.
but for sure, this one
talking about Rodney's Pajama Jam, which
yeah, go alone for that.
Yeah. Anything that Rodney Fitzgerald does, you got to read the fine print.
Make sure you read it.
I love he's my brother from another mother for sure. But anyways, yeah. So here's the thing, and there's so many different events going. And if you're a member of a Facebook group, like the 365 group, Rodney's 365 group, or anything like that, what's really, really cool is that they're always doing different types of events. There's always something going on somewhere. And there's going to be so many different really, really cool, fun events, not just at the celebration, but also outside of it. And typically once the celebration things end, people will normally go, okay, well, where are we going now?
Yes.
So even if the night ends at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, as far as the celebration is concerned, people are like, all right, where to? Perkins Pancake House or wherever. Right. So it's always a whole night of just stuff. And if you do come by yourself, obviously I would suggest staying at the host hotel, because again, you are going to be surrounded by people and fun. You're always going to be able to meet somebody. You come down and hang out, and
you'll have rides. People get together. People, they do it.
Yeah, there's always going to be people that are going to be there that are going to, welcome you with open arms, and you'll find somebody to hang out with.
I enjoyed the fact that no matter what was going on, there was just so much family feeling. You would think that two people who were hanging out had known each other their entire lives, and I'd be talking to them, oh no, we just met an hour ago, or we just met yesterday at Paisley Park, or whatever it was. It's that kind of relationship. So it's absolutely worth going, and then you get to share that, because going forward you'll always be friends. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you probably see it a lot here in the chat room as people are saying, "Oh yeah, I went by myself, and now I have friends for life, because
my first friend."
Meet people that, you meet people that you will not stop connecting with.
Absolutely.
So you're going to have fun. All right, so that is essentially what I can tell you for. Well, okay, I'm going to fill in a couple more pieces. Basically, what your day is, and again, I'm speaking directly to the newbies. Basically, what your day will contain is actually, you know what? I actually have a well, I'll just kind of. I actually have a schedule, an old schedule
Old
from
schedule.
the celebration.
So
Go ahead.
so preface this with this is potentially
No.
what it's going to be.
I'm just gonna just kind of blanket tell you what you can expect. So normally, what the day will contain is they'll normally have a bunch of different panels. They may have a panel of people that talk about the shoot. Maybe they'll have like a couple of people that used to work with the shoes. Maybe there's a couple people that used to work with fashion. Maybe there were backstage people. They were his dancers. They were just various people that would perform. There's normally they'll have somebody that will come out and speak. That obviously were maybe had more intimate relationships with Prince, like Maite, you know, so there'll always be panels and somebody talking to kind of share stories of Prince. In the past,
Right.
so they'll have lots of different panels that will be, you know, peppered through the day. And then normally 2 of the 3 nights, sometimes 3 nights, it just depends, they'll have a musical act there. I mean, in the past, there's been NPG, we've had The Family, there's been Jesse Johnson. So they always have like various acts that play. Brown Mark was there with Maserati. So there's always somebody there that was part of the Purple Circle that played. Now, I think the only band that I can think that has not played, obviously, would have been that's still around, that still could play. Apollonia 6, but Apollonia is not going to do anything like what she did back then. She's a totally different individual now. Third Eye Girl, a Third Eye Girl reunion show with a choreographed concert thing would be friggin' ridiculous. That would be, that would be ridiculous. That would be, that would be incredible for me. I love those whole jam session scenarios. So anyways, all that being said, what I can tell you is you can expect some musical acts. Obviously, Morris Day just did New Year's Eve. Would he possibly come back and do Celebration? It's totally possible. Sheila E's already been there. Sheila E did it.
Right.
There's so many different there's so many great bands that are out there. And I think all the bands that were attached to him and would be considered quote unquote proteges kind of fell into that, you know, were in that mix at some point in time. Now, this is under the assumption that this particular celebration is going to be similar to what they've done in the past. This right out of the gate, I've just got a sneaking weird suspicion about this particular event. I don't know what it is, but there's something that's different about, there's something that's different, and I don't know what it will be. But here's what I can tell you. I do know that one of the things that I saw as a common theme on that Facebook post that we did was that people were saying, you know, why couldn't we get Janelle Monáe or get her, or get, I don't know if I could just saw her just pop through here. Lawrence is in here, LAW and Planet 12 movement. Let me just tell you something right. Okay.
Man.
Let me just tell you something right here.
Yes.
If Law is playing anywhere near this event, whether you have to stay an extra day to go to this show, y'all need to see this man play. Not only is he phenomenal, he's an amazing guitarist, he's an amazing performer, his band is sick, but they also dig way deep into the Prince library of music. They perform songs you do not expect bands to play. I mean, it's really for Prince fans. Yeah. And he is amazing. And let me just tell you, if the estate is listening and they're trying to figure out who to kind of pepper in, this would be the first place to probably start if you're trying to find something that's going to be a little bit different out on the outer rims of the circle, because he is going to absolutely appeal to Prince fans because how deep that he digs into the library. He is just, it's incredible. Just go see him. Go see him. Anyway, so yeah, LAW would be an amazing option, but there are so many different artists that would also fit in that bill.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we don't know exactly how they're going to be scheduling this out or what they're going to be doing. So let me go over to the actually, I don't know if I can share my screen or not. I probably can.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually share the screen so that we can kind of talk about, I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. All right, I'm going to share the screen. All right, so you guys can kind of see this. This is a post that I did. I said, what do you want? This Tuesday, we'll have a new show for you, but we'll also be discussing the announcement regarding the celebration at Paisley Park for 2023. And I asked the questions. If you're on the fence, what would change your mind? If you've never been, what would you want to see for it to meet your expectations? If you've been to many of them, what do you not want to see? If you've made up your mind not to go, why? Let us know your answers, and we'll talk about your answers tonight. Here we are, last show of January. And so one of the things we were seeing is here's Courtney's dying to go. What's included? Full tour? Any shows? Obviously, as we just mentioned, we don't know. There's not. Yeah. Sandra's like, shall we begin? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many different rabbit holes that you can go down as far as this is concerned about, what's what. Donna says, I've been to 2 celebrations and my main desire is to hear Prince. To me, this is all about Prince. So I want to see concerts and any other footage. I'm not interested in seeing any other guest performers other than the Revolution or NPG. I've already made all my reservations, but we'll cancel if this turns out to be some other show than a Prince show. All right. Well, that is a specific expectation. I can tell you, obviously, with Prince not being with us, you're going to have to you're going to have to loosen those expectations a little bit. Obviously.
Just a little.
Because there's not the Revolution would be fantastic to see again. MPG would be fantastic to see again. There's obviously those would be really, really great bands to be able to see. But there's so many bands that are out there that could really, really do justice. And
really,
a girl justice. Too. I mean, yeah, I see Third Eye mentioned down here as well. But there's a lot of bands that could really do justice and really kind of fill that purple void. I'm telling you.
Right. Dr. Mambo's Combo when did their thing, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Dr. Mambo's Combo.
Mambo's Combo was out there killing it.
True Funk Soldiers came out. True Funk Soldiers was incredible. You had Donna Grantis, and who was that? Eden Nielsen, Shelby J, Liv Warfield. It was just it was a whole host of people that just did this jam session, and it was amazing. So Peggy says, Prince, this is what it should be about. Bring his bands to perform, more concert footage. My soul needs a refill. So I would say that concert footage seems to me like an obvious thing for the estate to do, because with concert footage specifically, I think a lot of people, especially with the concert footage that we have not seen, we don't need to see the Super Bowl again. Right. I can watch it again, obviously, but show us some shows that we have not seen before that we know were recorded. I know there are still a lot of people who have not been able to see the full video of the Prince piano and a microphone from Paisley Park. The one from it. Okay, let me go ahead and talk to you about the one from Atlanta, because I think the Atlanta one is the piece de resistance for as far as shows that they're sitting on, because there's this overwhelming looming. That was his very, very last show. Right. Like there were no, that is his final performance ever. But what I can tell you is that I was at both of those shows, 5th row for his first show, and like all the way in the back of the balcony for his final show, the 10 p.m. show in Atlanta. So I was at both of those Atlanta shows, and I do not recall seeing any cameras anywhere. Not like, normally if they're planning on shooting an event or they're planning on documenting an event, you normally see the floating cameras or whatever, things around. I don't remember seeing any anywhere. So if there is video footage, it's going to be very stationary video footage that they're going to have to be very, very creative about piecing together. But I do know that they did capture audio. I do know that. But here's what I can tell you. That type of stuff would break the internet. I mean, just being able to witness, hear, view his final concerts. And if you don't have the video of that, we know that there's video of the Prince Piano and a Microphone tour. I've seen it from Chanhassen. I know I've seen it, so I do know it exists. I have a tough time watching it all the way through, but I know it exists. So being able to do performances like that, but there's nothing to recreate there. That is you're sitting in seats and you're watching, because there's no band, there's nothing there live that you can compensate like they did in the previous shows, where they kind of, they replaced the band and they just kind of reenacted that part, and then Prince just did his part but because it's just Prince. So, but here's what I can tell you. I think concerts are definitely the answer. And being, the way that they choreographed the previous ones, I think it's doable. I totally think it's doable. It's something that can be done.
I agree.
Anyways, so you got a lot of, yes. I'm trying to be real careful because there are some people that said some things that were kind of, mean spirited. So I kind of left it alone.
Right. Well,
Wesley said it would be nice to have any of these: the Revolution, Sheila E., MPG, Shelby J. at the time, Shaka Khan, Judith Hill, Third Eye Girl, Janelle, Maite, and any others. Okay. So yeah, there are some people in that mix that would be great. Shaka Khan would be fantastic. Judith Hill would be fantastic. Let me just say, I just got done seeing Judith Hill in Atlanta a few weeks ago, and it was unreal. I had no idea that I knew she was great on piano, but I did not know she could play guitar like that. That was an incredible show. So yeah, Judith Hill for sure. Third Eye Girl, absolutely. Janelle would be great. With Third Eye Girl, there wouldn't have to be like a whole bunch of revisiting. As long as you can get all three of those girls to come in and do the show.
Oh yeah.
There was not really any choreography that was going on there. So that would be an easy win. Just get the three girls there to perform a concert like one of the ones they did overseas. And just have Prince's video up there. And as long as you are choreographed with the music, as long as you are in time with what's happening on the video, because that's what they do is they put the concert up on a big screen and they remove all of the audio channels except for Prince's vocals and whatever he's playing at that moment. And everything else is muted. And they have a click track that's going, and the band is playing along with Prince's audio track. So you are actually getting a real concert that's happening right there in front of you. They're not like lip syncing along. They're not, it's not karaoke. They're actually playing the instruments right there on the stage. And the only parts that are not are Prince's parts, or whatever he's playing, whether he's playing a guitar, whether he's on piano, or whatever he's doing, and his vocals. And so
it was sick too.
Oh, it is like next level. The whole process of the way they have to choreograph this and the way they have to practice it and time it. And NPG's performance last year was ridiculous because there was also dance choreography that was happening, and those guys are not. Damon D is a friend of mine. Tony's a friend of mine. We talk all the time, and they're not spring chickens anymore.
No spring chickens.
So for them to have to do the dances that they were doing back then in the 90s was just
they knocked it out the park, though. I mean, they did a great job, and they kept everybody hype, and that's the point,
Yeah. Yeah. So Kimberly says most Purple Flame would love to attend. Sadly, inflation, daily living costs prevent this. Those who can afford to attend savor each moment. I would agree. I realize that times are hard, but it's just I realize that there's financial aspect to this. But again, hats off to this state and for Paisley Park for announcing it this far in advance. So if there is a chance for you to be able to, start saving and be able to legitimately be able to do it, I think that this really is really, really great. P Funk Meme says, I heard Questlove playing 10-second snippets of songs we don't have. Yeah. Having Questlove come out and DJ a set, he's done it before. He's done it at Paisley Park. That would be great. Have Questlove come out and DJ a whole entire night. That would be ridiculous. And he would do it all friggin' day long.
Yeah.
This one's kind of like odd thing, but all right, so let's start getting into some of the things that people are kind of not being mean-spirited about, but they actually had a little bit of feedback based on previous celebrations. Jeannie said, attended celebration in 17, 18, 19, and 22. So did I. Love the first three. Being Chanhassen based was ideal. Last year was a fiasco, overpriced and extremely disappointing. Hate the insistence on staying in hotels out of Chanhassen. Why can't the transit buses be acceptable as in the early days? And this is true. I'll pause there for a second, because the first celebration that they had after his passing, they actually used buses. They were still the same charter buses, but they left from the train station that was right down the street from Chanhassen. So it wasn't a lot. If you were taking the charter buses, you were only going from there to the transit station that was a couple miles up the road. You weren't like going all the way. It wasn't like a 20, 30-minute drive back to the hotel. It was just a couple miles up the road. So it kind of also didn't make people feel like, all right, that's not that big of a deal. I get on the charter bus. It's only going to go a few miles up the road, and then you're back at your car. And it had plenty of parking because it was the Chanhassen. Well, I don't think that was officially Chanhassen. Maybe it is. It was the transit station that was just a few miles down the road. So it wasn't that bad. Merchandise has increased in price and quality lessened. I don't necessarily agree with that. May have increased in price, but some of the stuff that you will find in the Paisley Park store is stuff that you really got to keep your eyes open, because what they do is that they have a bunch of merchandise that was left over from previous tours that will just quietly find its way out into the inventory in the Paisley Park store. Yeah. Like last time I was there, they had Prince Piano and a microphone coffee mugs, which I got a coffee mug last time I was there. And I was like shocked, because I was like, okay, this was his final tour. And the fact that they are putting out inventory from his final tour, which is a very, very limited tour as far as the people that were able to see it. This is really crazy. It's a coffee mug, it's $25, but it's right here and I can, so you really got to keep your eyes open and kind of look as a fan and understand what's being put out there to kind of make sure it's a good deal. Do you need a Prince cymbal tambourine or tamburaca or whatever they call those things? Probably not. I have one, but probably not. But if you do, they have all that stuff. Anyways, let's continue with this comment. The celebration is now going to be June and not April. Why not over his birthday? The celebration has always been Thursday through Sunday, so it's always been a 4-day event that normally, and they plan it like that so that people don't have to take 4 days off. With his birthday falling on Saturday. No, it's not falling on Saturday. It's falling 8th. It's actually falling on. I think they try to do that if it's a scenario where
it lines up. Yeah,
where it lines up. Right. I think in the previous times they've been able to do it, and the only reason why they had it in April before was because Prince didn't celebrate birthdays. He didn't want to do birthdays. He said, "I don't count years, and that's the reason why I look so young." You guys have heard the clip, but April was a horrible time to because sometimes it snows in April. And so it's bitterly friggin' cold in Minnesota in April. It's not great. And normally there's snow. So, or a risk of chance of snow, and it's just not a great time to visit Minnesota. So June is definitely a better time to do it, even though Prince didn't like to do birthdays, but it is what it is. I think sometimes they will try to get it on his birthday. So here's what I can tell you though. Even if the event doesn't happen on his birthday, if you stay through his birthday or to his birthday, what they would normally do is somebody who's doing something last year. Alfonso Starr did a event at Riley Creek across from Paisley Park, did a DJ set there on Prince's birthday for the big. We weren't there. We left because we had just been there too long. It was already there long enough. But somebody will always do something for his birthday. There's always an event happening on his birthday. So if you want to make
last
sure,
year, last year there was a boat cruise, right? Didn't they do a cruise also
earlier in the day? Yep, they did.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many different things that are going to be going on. So yeah, again, we get that there are some frustrations or some things, but you need to. It's still worth going to. That's it.
All right. Here's an idea. Here's something that's interesting. Sandy says televise it. I actually cut off the Jeannie's thing because she actually has some more comments about people coming from overseas. I think
the revolution will not be televised.
Yes. Televise it or have certain events that you can actually watch via maybe a pay-per-view type of scenario or a live stream scenario. That's not really a horrible idea.
Right.
I think there's definitely an advantage to being there in person just because of all the external things that happen. But if somebody can't make it, and they want to be able to see some of these events. I think that's a really good that's a really good way to monetize this, to make it so that everybody can attend. Because it's one thing to pay $125 and you'll be able to see everything that happens all 4 days, or pay, at least $1,000 or $2,000. Well, probably a couple grand between flying out, getting a rental car, getting a hotel, paying for food, any merchandise that you're going to get. It's a costly investment to come out here. Or if it's feasible for somebody to be able to live stream it, that they can just the events that are happening at Paisley Park. I mean, they're obviously not maybe outside. Maybe they have a roving reporter or something that kind of goes out and does whatever. Right. I saw somebody last year. They had an outdoor section where they had food trucks and everything else, and they had games and trivia outside and whatnot. And while that was fun, a lot of people did feel like they were trapped because there were certain times where there was like 4 hours where you were trapped there.
Trapped.
Well, you were outside because you couldn't go. There were certain places you couldn't go. It was fine. It was fun. But a lot of people felt like, it would be nice to be able to kind of hop in my car, or maybe they have like a smaller shuttle that I can take to go back to my hotel and maybe take a nap for a couple hours or change clothes or do something. A lot of people felt like you're here for the long haul. You're there from like 8 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And
playing cornhole.
Playing cornhole and doing trivia, and there's no time to freshen up. So hopefully they're a little bit more, a little bit more forgiving about what people can and cannot do about leaving and coming on the property or whatever. So
right.
I don't know what the answer is to that, but I know that a lot of people felt like, let me out of here just for a minute. Just for a minute. Can I take a breath? It is what it is. Get some decent performers. And if you can't do that, dig inside the vault to find concerts that have been recorded. Yes, obviously we talked about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Here's another event that's happening here on June 10th on Prince's birthday, Saturday, June 10th in New Ulm, Minnesota, featuring the music of Johnny Rogers, who plays every single year. But obviously, for those who don't know, the town that the bronze statue of Prince and all that, the motorcycle and all that stuff that used to be over there. What was the name of that town? Yeah, anyways, it doesn't matter because it's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore.
It's now moved over to a town called New Ulm, ULM, and I have no idea where New Ulm is. I'm hoping it's closer than the other place was.
It's not near the old Ulm.
It's not.
Couldn't resist that.
Yeah, that's good. But yes, the bronze Prince statue is there. A lot of the movie memorabilia from Purple Rain, and of course, they have the guitar statue that's there. It's Minnesota's Music Museum is what it is. So apparently, it's a really, really cool new music museum that's there. So that's happening on June 10th. But I think you can go there even if you can't make it to this specific event. If you want to plan part of your day on either side of the celebration to go to one of these things, to go here and check out some of this stuff, do it. Very, very cool. Yes. So there's a lot of things. Bonnie for sure shared she has actually got a brand new document that's being shared. If you go to that post that we have on Facebook, she has a document that is naming all the things that happened. Because again, as I mentioned, all the things that happen outside of the celebration is like plentiful. There's like a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
And every year Bonnie puts together this document that has like all the different items on it. Let's take a second to talk about celebrationtrip.com or printcelebration.com. That is a website that I put up years ago. And the idea for it was is because there's a lot of different sites to see. There's statues and paintings and murals, just stuff, iconic places like Lake Minnetonka and things like that you should go to see while you're in Minneapolis or just Minnesota in general, because this stuff is kind of scattered all over the place.
Right.
And there was an original document that was created a long time ago by Kristen Schlommer. I think that's her.
Schomler, I think.
It's
Schomler.
CSCHOMLER. And if you ever went to, it's the only place I've ever seen it, but if you've ever been to Electric Fetus, there used to be a little envelope tray or brochure tray on the wall that had her little brochures in it. And it would name all of these places that were princely places that you could go, like the hospital where he was born, Andre Simone's house. And she just had like a bunch of different things. I thought,
right,
that's actually a really, really cool idea, but who's going to see this brochure? So one of the first times that I went to Minneapolis, what I did was I created this website called celebrationtrip.com. And I put a lot of Prince places on there. I took a lot of photos of a lot of different Prince places, and the website still exists at celebrationtrip.com. You can still go there, and it kind of names all these different places around town. And I included some of the stuff that Kristen had on there because she had, she had put some up, and even
put a lot of work into it. Yeah.
When I put up the website, I even showed everybody on the show her brochure, and I said, a lot of the stuff is on this brochure. I don't know where you can get this brochure, but here's this brochure. You need to check out this brochure,
right?
But the stuff that's on the website is not just things from the brochure, because there's some places that she listed on the brochure that I did not go to. Like I did not go to the hospital where Prince was born. Not that I don't admire the fact there's a hospital where he was born at, but I really don't care. I'm not going to drive 20 minutes out of my way just to see a building that
stare at a hospital
that he was. I just don't.
Yeah.
So
no.
there's some places but I did actually go through the process of, there's a bunch of utility boxes that are all throughout Minneapolis that various artists have painted. And I took pictures of those places. I took pictures of murals that are up there. All the murals and stuff, all the pictures and stuff, all the murals and everything are pictures that I took. All the images that are up there are pictures that I took, with the exception of just a few of them, like the Capri Theater. I think there's just a random shot that I was on Wikipedia or whatever. But anyways, all that being said, celebrationtrip.com still exists. And it also incorporated some of the stuff that Bonnie does. Like I would take some of the spreadsheet stuff that she's done where she's listed all of the shows, and I actually put it on the site. So you could go and you could click on a date, and it would show you all the events that are happening outside of the celebration, and all of it would be there.
Right.
Celebration Trip is going to continue to exist. It's going to be there. I'm probably going to take down, any images that are not mine, I'll probably take down or whatever, but because it's just a list of places. It's just all there is to it. However, we found out that recently that Kristen, who originally created that brochure, that she is in the process of creating an app. I don't know if the app is done or what's happening with it, but she's creating an app.
Yeah, which is awesome.
which is awesome because celebrationtrip.com, I only did out of a labor of love just to kind of make it easier for you guys when you're in Minneapolis to be able to pull up a map and go, where am I? And where's this at? And be able to get directions from one thing to the other.
Right.
And I actually paid for the website. I built the website. I paid for all the plugins on the website, the map plugins. Everything in there is a labor of love. And there's no monetization of it. There's no ads on it. It's just, it was just a labor of love for you guys. But if she's creating an app,
boom,
then get that for sure.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Because the amount of time that Celebration Trip took me to Celebration Trip, you can actually get to it from printcelebration.com or celebrationtrip.com, both domains I own. And you can actually pull it up on your phone and you can, go get directions and everything else. Again, if Kristen has a new app that she's creating, sweet.
Yeah, because you can be sure if she's taking the time to create an app, it's not just going to be the locations, something simple like that. It's if you're going to take the time to create an app, it's going to benefit all of the acts, all the musicians, all the events that are going on, all the people that are coming into town just to do their own shows. So it's probably going to be very heavily music related all across the board. So it's definitely going to be a great thing. I'm looking forward to seeing it, if it's done right. Not that I know what done right is, but
So I think probably what I'll probably do, I may reach out to her and just say, you can have celebrationtrip.com. I'll just take the band stuff off and just let her.
Well, no.
I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to do anything that's going to compete with her. That's not, because again, this was all a labor of love. It completely 100% was a labor of love when I did that. So I'm not even, I don't, just, it's just one of those things. I just don't, it's not one of those things. But
no, it's great that she's doing that. And since we've heard that, I think that's awesome. I can't wait to see what comes out of that.
Yeah. And Bonnie's list is always cool because she goes hard on this document. So we actually have, what is the Facebook group that I created for this? Years ago, I created a Facebook group, and Bonnie, if you're here, it was facebook.com/group/ out of the park or something like that. We created a group, was called Out of the Park, basically meaning that all these events that were happening outside of the park. And so everybody that was not going to Celebration or that was going to Celebration and wanted to know the things that were happening outside of the park, they had a place to go, and they could, Bonnie's document would always be there, and just all the different stuff was always there. So, anyways, all that being said, there's a lot of cool stuff that will be going on outside of things, but I wanted to make sure that I denoted that since Bonnie's document is up here, I wanted to make sure that you guys saw that. So there's that.
Yep. Coolness.
Tracy said, can we lock down Janelle, Judith, and Andy? Including Andy Allo. Says, I know this is far-fetched dreaming, but I'm putting it into the universe. And I replied, there's nothing far-fetched about that.
Right.
Janelle Monáe, I'm not saying that she's an extremely talented woman, but I really feel like Prince's involvement with a lot of the things that she did pulled a lot of strings and really kind of spun that spotlight around on her, and she took well advantage of it. And of course, we ended up finding out that this woman is talented, like she's a triple threat across the board.
Amazingly. Yeah.
So Janelle Monáe may be a little bit of a stretch to get, but I think that she would be willing to do it. Obviously, if I imagine if the price is right or whatever the case may be, but Judith is totally able to do this. Andy Allo, of course, Janelle. I don't think it's that far fetched. I really don't.
Here's the thing I think about this is it's great to come up with these names because I think they're great selections of great choices, but then that also has to be, you have to consider the other things people are asking for. For example, if you're having these people come and perform at Paisley Park, you're not going to want to stream that. You want bodies, butts, and seats.
Yeah, of course.
So again, there's this gray area, this tough balance. We can't have both necessarily. If you're wanting these people to show up, that kind of takes that's just going to back off on the streaming thing, get everybody to come out. So, just got to keep that balance in mind. I think they're great options.
There's a lot. I think there's a lot to be said for the live streaming part of it because I mean, you think about it's
Oh,
Louis
it
C.K.,
works.
a very famous, obviously world famous comedian Louis C.K. He just did a show the 28th, just a few days ago at Madison Square Garden, sold out Madison Square Garden, and he live streamed it for
Hmm,
$25, which was far less than what it cost to actually attend it.
it's amazing.
Madison Square Garden sold out just to be able to sit in a seat and watch a man walk around a stage. Nothing, no performance, no lighting, no nothing. And then he still made millions of dollars live streaming it for $25 a piece. I think that there's room for both a live streaming scenario and for people wanting to be able to see this stuff live and be able to also commune with fellow Prince fans. I
Oh,
just think
I agree. I agree that there's room for both. I don't doubt that at all, 100%. But the logistics of making that work and who the acts are does change a little bit. I think so.
I just really think that there's a huge audience who would love to be able to come, but it's just not financially feasible. So I
Yeah,
think
and
that
it'd be great to be able to
just
get them to be able to see this. Uh,
yeah, and think about everything that's happened at the celebration so far. All these amazing, really, really cool concerts that have happened at the celebration, and all these cool panels that have happened at the celebration. That these videos they're just gone. They play
right.
like they might put together a 10-minute clip or something for you guys to be able to see, but if somebody would have had the capability to be able to pay, $150 to be able to have access to all 4 days
Mm,
of the event, um, I just think that's a win.
yeah,
And
I think the approach I think the approach would be initially more of a on demand type of scenario. They record it all and then it's available again on demand.
yeah, I think that's all doable. I'm just trying to figure out ways because we always try to figure out ways to be able to continue moving Prince's legacy forward. And I think one of the ways that you do that is to make the event more accessible to more people. And most people don't have the capability, the financial ability to be able to do all those things like get on a plane and do all this stuff. I just think live streaming is going to be a huge financial windfall for the estate. I think it will be a phenomenal idea. I
Mm,
just think across the board, I think it would be great. We'll see. Just
yeah.
throwing it out there as something you should probably consider. May take a little bit of money up front to kind of get that technology in place and make sure that it happens. You don't want it to crash and burn like other NPG Music Club type of things where it was like, we're going to make this promise and oh crap, it didn't happen. We just got to make sure that all the technology is in place and that everything is working the way that it's supposed to be working. And I think it would be a big win
Yeah.
for them.
I mean
All
that's doable for
Let's
sure.
talk about it. Karen says, what have the AM and PM track hours been? Does anyone know if late entry is allowed? I have to work the first 2 days. All right. So here's another thing. This actually brings a couple questions. First off, there is no partial days. In the past, there have been no partial days to attend. So you have to buy either a general admission ticket or a VIP ticket, and that got you in for all the days. You couldn't just buy just a ticket for Friday or just a ticket for Saturday. You just couldn't do that. That wasn't something that was, available. That
Mhm.
has been a request that people have made. It's like, look, I can't make it. Just like she says, I can't make it. I have to work the first 2 days. I have to work that Thursday and Friday, but I would love to come Saturday and Sunday. Do you offer tickets for Saturday and Sunday? Is that something that's feasible? I don't know. Maybe that may be something they can consider. I don't know. But in the
Mm,
past, the answer is no. You have to buy the whole thing. If you don't show up until Saturday, sorry, that's just kind of how it is.
mm,
But would it be an option? Maybe. What have the AM and PM track hours been? AM normally starts at 10 o'clock in the morning,
right.
Central Standard Time, which is 1 hour behind us. But so 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it would normally go until like 4. I want to say it was like 4 or 5. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 or
It
something
was like
like that.
5, 4.
And then the evening folks would come in about 2, I want to say, and it was like 2 to 10 or 2 to 9 or something like that. It was, I want to say it was like 6 or 7 hour windows that you were there. But the way that they did it last year was that if you got a morning hour slot, you were there from 10 to 10. You, they broke up your day so that, you had lunch in the middle, but it was like, not like an hour lunch. It was like a 3-hour lunch that you were sitting out in the yard. So hopefully they work kind of through that. Again, I know that a lot of people felt like they were, um, you know, that's kind of what it was. Um,
Hmm.
Maureen says, that hope that answered your question. I think I already answered it. They don't sell it for each day. That would be a really, really cool option. But
Would.
I think the other problem with that, obviously, is that you had a really, really cool act. Let's just say Saturday you had Jesse Johnson and maybe, uh, Andy Allo played on Friday, or maybe, there was acts that you maybe weren't that interested in seeing, and
Mhm.
you don't want to create this scenario where you just don't want to create that type of scenario where people can pick and choose, and artists get cheated out of an audience. It's just not. It's just
Mm.
it works. Um, but Maureen says, as I replied on Jeannie's post, I have been to all the celebrations, but 2022 caused me not to want to return. What would change my mind? Show us upstairs. Show us the garage. Show us his
Mm.
tour bus. Bring the revolution back. Bring Shelby J back. Let us hear all Prince music all the time. Keep us in Chanhassen. An attitude adjustment towards the fans, i.e., instead of treating us like cattle with deep. Oh my God, I shouldn't have read this. With deep pockets, treat us as Prince always did. Any of those things would help. A few might cause me to reconsider. Sorry to be so blunt, but 2022 brought big changes from the original celebrations, and not for the better, I'm sad to say. Okay. So let's.
Don't it make you mad? It make me mad.
Well, it's like
Okay. All right, so here's the thing. Yeah, they really did do a lot of different things last year compared. Now that okay, Jeff, this was your that was your very, very first celebration. That was the very, very first time that you were in Minneapolis. What
right.
was your takeaway from what
The
was your
cattle thing?
well, not the cattle thing, but just in general. I'm
Okay.
gonna stop sharing the screen just so we can kind of be larger for a moment. But go ahead.
Well,
Just give me your feedback on this.
my takeaway from the event? Uh,
Your takeaway from Celebration 2022.
yeah, I I feel that they did a good job, a great job of allowing you to experience Prince and who he was, and that's really the point. Um, for someone who's never been there, being able to get around and see everything. I mean, I have nothing that I could complain about being my first time out there. With the suggestions people are making, I think they're great suggestions, but I mean that's just a matter of anything growing. So I don't have any complaints now. As far as herding around like cattle,
I don't feel like we were turning. I
I,
didn't
I
really
don't
feel like that.
I
You
don't
had to be
feel
in
like
one place
we
to
were
do that.
herded like cattle, but you got to keep in mind cattle isn't the right. I mean, this is Prince fans. It's more like trying to herd cats. We can't, you
Yeah.
can't control the fans like that. People are all over the place finding ways to make things happen, and it was it was a blast watching everybody. So
Yes.
there were moments of feeling, you know, stuck in places, but I was just, I was never stuck anywhere I didn't enjoy being. So, it's all a matter of perspective and how you look at it. There were plenty of people to keep me entertained.
Yeah.
So
I just yeah, I can feel it, but
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real.
yeah, so it is, it is what it is. You have hundreds of people that you've got to corral. That's probably a bad it's probably that's probably not the word to use, but you got a couple hundred people that you've got to get from one location to the other, and
right.
that's just
It's a
you
lot.
know you got to do it. It's got to be like a cattle type of thing. There's no, I don't know.
First of all, their schedules and it's not a free for all concert that you're just showing up to. It's a full event. So they have to coordinate how people come in and out of the place. There's a lot to it. And logistically, yes, it could have been done more smoothly, but you can say that about any event. I'm not the one hired to run it, so I'm not going to speak how poorly anything did or didn't happen. I don't know what's going on behind scenes, but I know my personal experience. I had a good time and I was where I wanted to be. And anytime I was somewhere that I didn't want to be, I would just move. and go somewhere else.
Well, and that was the other thing too, is that it was your very, very first. I remember the first
Mhm.
time, my first time in Minneapolis and at Paisley Park. You're just like overwhelmed by it all, and
Yeah.
uh, the other thing too is that you went into Minneapolis, and you probably were a bit surprised at how many people recognized you. Right out
Yeah,
of-
that was amazing. That was, yeah, it's being downtown and walking around and people going, "Hey, I've seen you," and meeting people from Germany and Australia and all these other
uh,
I mean, just everywhere. I was just blown away. Like,
People from
what?
Australia coming up and going, "Hey, man, bam, bam, bam."
Pippin! I was like, oh, take a picture, Pippin! I lost my voice the first night.
It's always weird. I know the one time I went with Rob went with me, and we were standing in line to get the rental car, and somebody came up and was like, "Hey, you're Mr. Christopher. Oh, and you're Rob." And and he was like, "How do people recognize me?" He's like, "You're on a podcast," right? That goes out to like lots of people.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to kind of just be able to meet and definitely put faces to the names, because we see like tons of names, hundreds of names scrolling by here in the chat area, and it's just like really, really cool. Anyways, all right,
No,
let's
the
get
funny part, I'll say one more funny piece about it is I see a lot of people that I see online or that I've seen, at different places, and I don't always go up and speak to people because even though I cut up and act up, it's uncomfortable for me to just walk up to people and be like, "Hey," Sometimes I'll do it, and sometimes you'll catch me, but if you do see me around, like, and me and Mr. Christopher out, up, come say hi, because I probably will just look over the distance and wave, because that's more comfortable for me.
yeah, it's always I think there's probably like thousands of selfies that are out there of me that just
Yeah.
random people took, and I was like, I sometimes I just see selfies like, oh, I looked horrible in that one. But
Right.
anyways,
Shut up already. Damn.
all right, let's talk about the celebration. And but somebody's asking, oh, Karen asked, did you do VIP or GA? Again, every celebration I've gone to, I've done GA, every single one. I think we may do VIP this year, but every single one that I've done general admission, and I've always had an amazing time. I've never left wanting. I've never left going, oh man, I feel like I've missed out on this, that, and the other. And I've never felt that way. Never, ever. I've never
Yeah.
felt.
Yeah. Me neither.
I've always felt like I had a really fantastic time. It's just always great. So
Yeah. That's the
um,
truth. That's it. I had a blast no matter what anybody, all the could be, should be. I still can't deny I had a super blast, and I'm looking forward to going back. So there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we will be back. We will be back this year. So, if you did not get an opportunity to meet us, then, just know that we'll be there this year. So you will, you'll know, you'll see us. That's all there is to it. So there's a couple more comments on here. Lisa said, have they ever considered full travel packages? I think that would be a really, really cool idea.
Oh, wow.
The problem is, well, a lot of times with these full travel packages, whenever they consider doing something like this, whenever companies that do this type of thing, there's always a profit motive
Right.
woven in travel packages.
Right.
So that's the reason why I've never stayed at the host hotel. I know that I've told you guys, stay at the host hotel. But I've never stayed at the host hotel, only because of the fact that the host hotel is normally at least at minimum $50 a night more than any other hotel. That's like, one time I stayed at a hotel, Wally Safford and myself, we stayed at the hotel right across the street. It was the American, AMERICINN. Like America, but instead of the A at the end is INN, American. And Wally and I rest in peace, Wally. I hope you're doing, I know you're doing great. Wally and I would sit out in the lobby and we would just hang out, and he would just tell me stories for hours, and we would just sit on the couch, and it was just me and Wally sometimes his girlfriend or whoever was there with him or whatever. I don't know if he's married or not, but there was always some lovely lady with him all the time. And we would just sit and talk, and he would just share story after story after story. And it's just amazing. But we paid like $89 a night at that hotel. And then the host hotel, which was literally right across the street, you could take a rock and throw it at the host hotel. It was like 170 or 180. And I was like, that just doesn't even make any sense. So, but it's, Lenny, I think Lenny was at Lenny Beeson. Lenny, you were at that hotel too. I think, but you, I don't remember. There's so many people that were out there. Anyways, who was some other questions that I'm kind of seeing here pop up? Dave says, what was that great pizza place again? I gotta forget. You have to look at the text. There's this one pizza place that's in Minnesota that is just friggin' amazing. It's like
somebody mentioned it. What, Pizza Luce or something?
No, that
Milana
was
said no. That wasn't it.
Started with a C.
You know what? Didn't I call you and ask you it again?
You were in Minnesota. You were like, "What's that pizza place?"
And I said I wouldn't forget.
He's like, "I'm not gonna forget." We'll look it up. I'll try to look it up and see. But yeah. Sandra says, does Funkatopia get free VIP? The answer is no. Let's hope that changes this year. But we just so we're really clear, we don't, Funkatopia is not affiliated in any way, shape, or form with the estate or Prince Rogers Nelson or Paisley Park or anything. So all this positivity that we're sending you is because of the fact that we really want you to come to the celebration and we really want you to have a good time. We do not receive any checks from Paisley Park. We do not receive any checks from the estate. We have not received a dime from the estate. I've never received a handout from the estate or Paisley Park. I've received nothing from them. Just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea as to my so everything that you're hearing is literally my unadulterated, unsolicited opinion about the event and what you should do and what you should not do. Now,
right,
whether or not that changes in the future, hey, hey,
what can I say? You know,
have your people call my people. You know what I'm saying?
And their people can do lunch.
Their people, and you know.
I'm so good.
Gina Maria's.
Yes, that's it. That's right. Thank you,
Heidi.
Yes, Gina Maria's. That's right. Gina Maria's is the great pizza place. So if you want to make sure that you, thank you, Heidi. Thank you. Gina. I'm sorry, Heidi. Did you remember that from when we talked about it before, or did you just like?
I just read Gina Heidi's.
That's it. I said it started with a C. It doesn't even have a C anywhere in there.
I was looking it up.
Yes, Gina Maria's is the name of the pizza place, and if you're going to go into Minneapolis or Minnesota, you have to go. You have to go to it. It's really freaking good pizza.
Crazy. I told myself I wouldn't forget it because in Boston we had Papa Gino's, and you said Gina Maria's, and I was like, oh, I'll never forget that because we had Papa Gino's when I was growing up in Boston, and forget it. Hey, forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it. You're gonna have some good pizza when you're up there in Minnesota. You go to the Gina Maria's. It's a way to go, man. They have a couple of locations. I can only tell you about the one that's attached to the gas station. That one is dope. And the other one, I don't know. I don't know if they all make it the same. Like a Domino's, they all make stuff the same. Papa John's, they all make stuff the same. But a Gina Maria's, I don't know. I think sometimes it might be so-and-so doing it. So-and-so doing it. Depends on who's working it. If you smoked a little, before you started the shift. You never know what you're going to get. It's going to be a pepperoni. It's going to be extra pepperoni.
Hey, hold on. If you're going to smoke something, it all depends on what you're smoking,
And if you smoke just the right amount, it might be an amazing pizza. But I don't know.
It might not even be pizza, but taste like pizza. It all depends on what you're smoking. It's all good stuff.
And if you smoke too much, you might have put too much cheese and not make it enough. It's like a crazy pizza, and it might be in a chocolate pizza.
Hey,
Who
slow
knows?
down. That's not even a pizza you're eating right there. That's just slow down there. I like it though.
Do it all day long.
Do it all day long.
Lisa says, what bars or clubs are good? Well, there's lots of cool bars and clubs. Most of the bars and clubs I've been to is because of the fact that there is a band or somebody playing there that is like Bunkers is always a good place because Bunkers is a really, really cool venue for Prince used to go there and just pop in and just play. And he always used to sit in with just various bands that would be playing. But it's a matter of fact, Jesse Johnson, the last time, I don't know if it was last time he played in Minneapolis, but he popped up and did a show at Bunkers. So it's a very small club. It's very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
So go there. That's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Bunkers is cool. Also, the City Winery is really, really cool. Dakota's is really, really cool. There's lots of different places. Depends on what's what. I know
what I'd like to see. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I'm all left field. I'd like to see this year First Avenue get their act together and not act up like they did last year. I mean, that not saying that they acted up, but they were very adamant about not doing anything and how difficult it was. And I'd really love to see them go, hey, this year,
well,
let's do something.
I think that part of it was because of the last minute announcement of when they were doing the celebration. They were very quiet about when the celebration was happening. And so First Avenue is a music venue first and foremost. And they're
right.
How they make money is booking shows.
Exactly.
And they book shows a certain period, a certain bit in advance. And, when you get like 2 months out and you're not announcing an event 2 months out away, that date's probably already booked.
Right.
So I would guarantee that probably this year, First Avenue is going to be very, very different because they know now that the celebration is happening June 8th through 11th. So one of those days, there's going to be something that is going to happen there at something will happen at First Avenue. First Avenue's notoriety, there's been a lot of world-class acts, but let's face it, First Avenue is on the world stage because of Prince. End of story. Capiche? He put it on movie screens around the world,
right,
forever to be, immortalized on film.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing that, I think First Avenue wanted to do something, but they just couldn't. They had the days booked and they just didn't. There was just nothing that they could do. Maybe they thought the celebration's not happening, and then it got. I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for First Avenue, but for those who don't, or like, what are they talking about? Every year the celebration happens, First Avenue always did something. They always did like a dance party night. Maybe like a Paris would come out and she would DJ a whole event, or a bunch of different DJs would come out, and they would just have a huge Prince party, or what's called a transmission party. They would do lots of different things for the Prince crowd because people would flock into First Avenue and just have a huge Prince party. And just that was the reality of it. But last year they did nothing.
Yeah,
they literally did nothing, and they even had a street renaming. The street that was in front of First Avenue, they renamed that street. Just that one little block.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like the whole street was just that one little block in front of First Avenue was renamed, and they didn't even really do anything. It was happening right in front of their house. The mural, the Prince mural that they unveiled, was right catty corner from First Avenue, and they didn't do anything either. I just think that they were just not. I just don't think they had time to react.
I hope so.
They got a lot of negative press last year. So I'm hoping that this gets fixed this time. So anyway,
that's the one thing I didn't get to do. I really, really wanted to go to First Avenue. Someday I wanted to play on there. It's like, but we couldn't even get a tour without, like, you have to do this and you pay for a ticket and do all this and I'm like, I just want
Can I just sniff it? Can I just walk in and sniff the stage, man?
Yeah, and they weren't even doing any tours either. I think that was the thing that kind of pissed people off. It wasn't that the fact they weren't doing anything, but they weren't even offering tours because they normally do tours during the day,
Right.
where you can kind of go and at least they'll walk you backstage. They'll walk you through. They can say, "Hey, you can stand on the stage, you can do whatever," and they didn't do anything. But, anyways, we're talking about things that are external. So let's to kind of wrap things up. All right. Because we want to wrap things up because I know you guys have a lot of questions. If there's no questions that I did not answer, please go ahead and repost them because please go ahead and repost any questions that I didn't answer and I'll try to get to them here. But here's what I can tell you. The celebration is happening this year, June 8th through June 11th. And so it's going to be a very, very cool event. It's going to be the celebration. If you're on the fence, if you're a newbie, you've never been, I would say that if you're a huge Prince fan and you have the monetary capability to be able to do it, do it.
Go.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a full 4 days of a lot of Prince stuff. Make sure that you wear comfortable shoes because we have no idea exactly what's going to be happening. Not saying for the dancing part of it, which obviously would happen, but on the same note, you could also possibly in comfortable clothes also, because there's no telling exactly how things are going to shake out or if you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to stay in a certain period, a place for a long period of time. You just need to be ready for that. So make sure that you know that. As far as where you should stay, if you want to be able to hang out with the most amount of Prince people, then I would probably suggest you wait until they announce what the host hotel is and get a place at the host hotel. The host hotel, across the board, I can tell you the host hotel is typically more expensive than the previous. They're just more expensive. They normally are.
Right.
Normal hotel range for you can go into a variety of different areas like Bloomington or Eden Prairie. You can get place in Chanhassen. You can go to a variety of different places. But as the hotels find out that the celebration is during this window, they're going to up their pricing. I can tell you that's how hotels do things. They go, oh, there's going to be a demand for rooms. Well, then we can make sure that we up our pricing. So if there's a way that you can figure out how to go ahead and book, take a chance, and you want to get the best pricing, go ahead and figure out what the best pricing is and book. There's not really a whole bunch of bad areas. I would not suggest, do not stay in downtown Minneapolis, only because while staying in downtown Minneapolis seems like a cool idea, a lot of times there is not parking. So if you rent a car and you want to be able to get around, you're either going to have to pay for on-site parking or, in downtown Minneapolis still is not the safest place at certain hours. It's just, there's certain areas of Minneapolis that are just not great. There are little touristy little pockets, but for the most part, you're better off staying maybe at a Verbo or finding out what this host hotel is if you really want to get the ultimate experience. And then going to, or getting a place in like Eden Prairie or Chanhassen or Bloomington, those types of areas are relatively low crime, like, just a little bit safer places.
Right.
You will need to rent a car. They do have transportation, like public transportation, but you're not going to want to do any of that. You're going to want to be able to go to a bunch of different places, and there's tons of places that are out there to see when you're not at the celebration. So just know you're going to have windows of times where if you're on a PM schedule, that means you're going to have the whole day open until 4 p.m. before you have to be back at Paisley Park.
Right.
So you have a whole day to be able to go, maybe go to New Ulm or go see the hospital where Prince is born at. I don't know. Wherever it is that you want to go, there's tons of stuff to see. So you want to make sure that you have the capability, and you do not want to Uber or anything because they will rake you over the coals because there's nothing that's really close. There's not like a bunch of, it's just not. You're going to want to rent a car. Just go rent a car. And as far as, when to come in, it's kind of hard to say because there are people that are going to be doing events on the 6th. There are going to be people that are going to be doing events on the 7th. There's going to be people doing events on the 12th.
Right.
So you've got all these days that are in there that are outside of the celebration window where an event might pop up, and you have no choice but to stay. You have no choice. Like the celebration ended like a day before we left last year, and we stayed because Jelly Bean Johnson was having an event at the Minnesota Music Cafe, which
Yes.
had Jelly Bean Johnson, and Law was there, and all these like special guests would come in and just they would all sit in, and it was a big party, and it was just amazing. It was so much fun.
Really was.
So you want to kind of figure out what's happening as far as the events that are happening externally, so that you can kind of make your decision whether or not you choose VIP or whether or not you choose general admission. When the tickets do go on sale, as soon as they announce what the tickets will go on sale, obviously we will let you guys know. Best place to keep up with all the information for as we put it out is obviously going to be Facebook. And speaking of which, last Tuesday we announced that we had crossed 30,000 followers.
Right.
30,000 followers on Facebook, which is ridiculous. If you have not followed us yet, please click follow on Facebook. We would love for you to click us on follow. If you're watching us on YouTube, please click subscribe.
Yes.
Because that's going to be the place where you're going to find out information. Is primarily going to be Facebook. That's where our people are. So we do a lot of stuff on Facebook. I do stuff on Twitter as well, but Facebook is the main place. And in this past week, since we announced 30,000, we are already over 33,000 followers.
Right.
We got over 3,600 new followers in 1 week. In 1 week, we went from 30,000 to 33,000, over 33,600, which right out of it just solidifies us as probably the largest Prince-focused podcast on Facebook across the board. It's just,
and we don't even know what we're talking about, you know.
And we're not getting paid. Can you imagine? Yes, you want a little dollar, we can kind of help you out. And we still continue to take care of the estate and Paisley Park. We will always continue to support them and all their efforts just to kind of make sure that we kind of keep legacy alive.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, all being said, once the tickets are announced, if you're debating between the two, they will obviously, once they announce the tickets go on sale and what's included, you can kind of make your assessment. I can tell you that even if the VIP sells out and you get in a situation where you're stuck getting general admission, don't feel like you're stuck getting general admission, because you will have an amazing time. It is so much fun. Even if it's general admission, you're going to have a good time.
Absolutely. You're not stuck.
You're not stuck. You're going to have an amazing time. Again, I've gone to every single one of these as general admission, and I've never once felt cheated or slighted or like, I wish I would have been VIP. There's some things, again, that I wish I would have been able to take advantage of. But the reality of it is, you're going to have fun no matter what level you go at. You're going to have a good time, and it's all about the experience. It's all it is. It's all about the
absolutely. And to comment on it came up way early in the show about the food trucks. I actually enjoyed the food truck. It was actually was pretty decent. I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy it. I was like, hey, this worked. So I'm okay with them having food trucks.
Yeah. So on the food side of things, we didn't really touch on that, but when you're there, they do actually have food options available. In the past, and I think for all the celebrations, if you went VIP, you got food, you did get fed while you were there. If you got general admission, you have to purchase your food. It's been a mixed bag as far as what was available for, it's always been a mixed bag. Yes, Kiara says Funkatopia should be considered press because you guys keep us up to date on all the purple things. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We do what we can.
We know we do what we can.
We do what we can. You know what I'm saying? But if you were general admission, you had some options. They had I think there was only 3 food trucks. It wasn't even that. It was 2 food trucks. There was like a seafood food truck and what was the other one?
The other one was oh my gosh, because I had something from there. Burritos? No, it was
I don't remember what it was. They only had 2 food trucks, and then they had another area that was that was the stuff that they sell inside of Paisley Park, which was like the Rice Krispie treats, the weird Rice Krispie treats, which are kind of, I don't know what they are.
They need more alcohol trucks, is what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. So they had there was stuff that they had there, but yeah, if you're general admission, you know, you have to purchase your own food. They don't check, you can't bring in bags. So if you're going to sneak in a sandwich, you got to put it in your pocket or something, or you got to figure something out. Put it in your hoodie or something. I don't know. You got to
Sneak in a sandwich.
Sneak in a sandwich. But yeah, so that's essentially how the food scenario works. And of course, you know, you go to the original Pancake House, which is the bomb. The original Pancake House up there, you know, to fill up before you even go. Yeah, the pancakes would be great. Obviously, they do actually have pancakes there.
They were slamming on New Year's Eve.
Jeff actually made it to the New Year's Eve event. I was not able to go. I was over in California. I wanted to go, but I couldn't.
I said, "Oh my God, these are some good pancakes." Oh, I'm telling you, it's so delicious.
All right. So Amy did have a question here. What was her question? I have a question. I apologize if I missed this, but during the past celebrations, were you allowed to leave and come back, or were you expected to stay put from morning till night? Oh, yeah. So you could leave the facility. You could leave. But here's the thing. If you got to Paisley Park via the shuttle bus, the shuttle was not waiting there for people who randomly wanted to leave. So that's the reason why people who actually rented a car actually parked across the street at Ann Park. Is it St. Ann Park or Ann something? It's a park across the street by Riley Creek. And so they would just leave like in the middle of the day. If there maybe there was a panel that was happening, and somewhere between the break and the panel, they were going to have a 4-hour window. And if they weren't interested in seeing the panel, they just simply walked out and walked down the golf path and got in their car that was parked over at Riley Creek, and then they left and they went wherever they wanted to go, and kind of were able to free themselves up for that period of the day. But if you came to Paisley Park in a shuttle bus, again, that shuttle bus was not accessible to you if you wanted to do something like that.
Yeah, the bus didn't sit around waiting.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, you want to go back to the hotel or whatever?
Come on.
Come on, hop in. Yeah,
Get in.
what's a gallon of gas on a bus?
Right.
So that's the answer to the question. You were expected to kind of stay put, and the people that were smart enough to actually bring and we had a rental car, but we just got on the shuttle just because I was nervous that if I parked over at the park, that they were going to tow my car. And the worst thing you can have happen to you is have a rental car towed. That's got to be up there with that sucks. So yeah, that's kind of what you were expecting.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
There's Jeremy said, what's a good Rekisto to check out besides Electric Fetus? I can tell you. There's actually a couple of them, but Cheapo Records, without a doubt. Electric Fetus is cool because it actually has their own little record section and a lot of stuff that is. They also have, whenever an artist, definitely in the Purple Circle, kind of goes to do things, they like will give them some CDs and they'll pre-autograph them. And then you can go and, like, I got Liv Warfield's album that was I could call Liv if I wanted to, but I went in and I didn't have this one album by Liv, and she had a CD there and it was signed and it was only like $12 or something. And so it was like, cool. All right. Yes. So Electric Fetus actually has a lot of neat things that you can actually get, but they also sell things like incense and some Prince merch and whatever. Their Prince merch is really whittled down. They used to have like a big section of Prince stuff. Now they don't. I don't know if something happened between their relationship between them and the estate, and the estate was like, fine, you don't get all the goodies.
Right. I
don't know what happened, but it went from a big, really cool section to a small kind of little aisle thing. So it wasn't, it went really, anyways. Cheapo Records, definitely. CHEAPO Records. It's actually on celebrationtrip.com. You can actually look, and it is, they actually have a mural out front of the 45 of When Doves Cry. But if you walk into Cheapo Records, do not plan to walk out of there. It's a massive record store. It's very, very cool. Cheapo Records is very, very cool. And I'm sure that the people that are in Minnesota or in that area probably know some other record stores that are also really awesome. But Cheapo Records,
Right.
my mind is blown every time I walk into Cheapo Records. It is one of those, just, it's incredible. And when I was in California, Amoeba Music was like 2 Cheapo Records. Like Cheapo Records was already massive. Imagine 2 of them inside of a building. It's a place called Amoeba Music over in Los Angeles. And it was like, good Lord. But if you're not in Los Angeles, if you happen to be in Minneapolis, go to Cheapo Records. That is a massive, massive place.
Absolutely. And I bought from both Electric Fetus and Cheapo. And it's just like, yeah.
Yes. It's definitely a place. Let's see what we have here. What does Sandra say here? 2016, I saw More Stay in the Time perform at First Avenue. The sound was fabulous. You felt like you were in the movie Purple Rain. Amazing dancing there. Yes, First Avenue is a great place to play. If you get an opportunity to see a good show there, especially if it's Purple related, definitely check out First Avenue. There's lots of, they have, not only do they have the Prince star that's outside, you don't have to actually go into First Avenue.
Right.
For that. That is outside. So you can get your picture taken with the Prince star, which they've now, we used to be white and silver. Now it's gold. They repainted it gold. So you can actually get your picture taken with that star without going into First Avenue. But inside at the top of the stairs on the second level, they also have another star inside for Purple Rain. So there's another star that you can get your picture taken in. Of course, nothing's changed with First Avenue. It looks exactly the same. Plus on top of that, you can also buy First Avenue merch like, a jacket or hats and t-shirts, whatever else. They have a bunch of First Avenue merchandise. So you want to say, hey, I was there. You weren't. This is my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. First Avenue is very, very cool. Let's see. Ben says, damn, you can talk.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Yes, I can talk. Absolutely. That's a specialty of mine. Lisa says Bloomington is good. Yes, Bloomington is good. P-Funk Meme says, I'm looking for strip clubs Prince visited in 93. I would be surprised if there's a strip club that stood the test of time for 30 years or whatever. I don't see it possible, but I don't know. We've got some strip clubs in Atlanta that have lasted that long.
I don't know.
I mean, as far as I know, I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
I can't even remember the last time I was at a strip club, but
you know who would know?
Yeah,
Andre would know.
The ones that are in Canada.
Andre might know.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions in here.
All right.
Looking. Yes. Oh, Marilyn says, I just posted the locations for all the Gina Maria pizza places. Now you won't forget.
Wow. Thanks.
Yeah.
I will still forget.
If you want pizza places, that's
I'm glad. Thank you.
Somebody said Chanhassen Inn is no longer there, but the other spot is Country Inn and Suites, which is right there in Chanhassen. Prince fam stayed at both. Yeah, a lot of times what they will do is, well, there is a host hotel where a lot of the acts that are performing or the panel that are speaking will stay at the host hotels. Right. There are some other ones that people will stay at in Chanhassen. I know that Dwayne Tudall, my good friend Dwayne, he normally stays somewhere in Chanhassen. I guess he just likes to be close to Paisley Park because he's not normally, if he's not emceeing something or being a moderator for an event or talking during a panel or whatever, he's normally always just there in Paisley Park.
Right.
As far as we also combed over the request that I read off of that Facebook post of saying, show us the upstairs, show us the garage, show us his tour bus. That has been something that people have always been requesting. And I don't know that they have a way to kind of I really think it's a crowd control thing because I don't know that there's a flow for that. And I know that the elevator that is right there at the front, once you go into the atrium, they blocked the elevator. So now you can't even see the elevator. And I think they did that obviously for it's just too much for people to be able to see that elevator.
Yeah.
So when you go into the atrium, the main foyer area, and you look to the right, you'll see like it's been boarded up and it's been painted, and so you probably couldn't tell that there was something there. But behind that wall is where the elevator is. And they closed it up. So they just kind of like luckily they made it so it's not so overwhelming. But I think that there's some things that they have to kind of put under lock and key, and they gotta have to prep those specific areas in the upstairs area and maybe even in the garage. But yeah, being able to go down to the garage and actually see the cars lined up and be able to see all that stuff would be really, really cool. Definitely would be an awesome, awesome adjustment. Donna says, curious what price for the tickets will be this year. I don't know. What were they last year? The general admission was $399. Is that what it was? And then
$399 or $360.
It was like $399 or something like that for general admission. And then VIP was like $800 or something like that, or $700, something along those lines. And in previous years, it was even more than that. In previous years, it was like $1,200 for VIP, and then general admission was $799. I think last year the price actually came down, and they actually did quite a bit more activity wise. So I think that they're trying to find some type of balance as what would people be able to afford, and what
makes sense for them to afford everything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what's going to make sense that people are going to buy this ticket and also still have money to actually buy merchandise and do other things as well. We realized that when Prince was alive and he was with us, he was only charging $50 and you were there for a whole week. It's a different time, different thing. And it was just a whole, it was what it was.
Cool.
Jamie says, where did Prince band members or staff stay when they were needed to be in town? They would normally stay at the host hotel, or they would stay someplace close to Chanhassen, just so they could kind of get through. I don't think we have too many more questions. I think I've
no, not really.
You're ready to go. No, not really. No, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Already. Damn.
I gotta make a sound clip of the car at the end of that time song. Or the one at the end of Jesse Johnson's song, I Can't Let Go. It's just all right. Well, this seems like a really good one here. It's a big one. Kiara says, I plan on going this year, but here's a list of things to improve. If you're going to provide any transportation to official celebration events, please provide transportation to all official events. Please work with the city of Chanhassen to allow parking overnight at Riley Creek, Lake Ann Park, or at businesses nearby. Yes. Abso-friggin-lutely yes. That is the biggest one for me. More food options. Yes, I agree with that too. Now I know that Paisley Park is focused on the music and legacy of Prince, so food may not be their priority, but that is where we need to get to. Yeah. But yeah, I would say, the transportation thing is the biggest for me. Because if you were able to park a car across the street or at a business close by, and you had a 4-hour window that you can get back in your car and go back to the hotel and freshen up, or maybe take a nap because you plan to be a late night or whatever, that would be amazing. That would be so fantastic for people to be, because some people actually have, health issues, and they need to be able to just take a break. And
right.
And we had last year, there was a COVID outbreak.
Right.
For those on the audio, I'm raising my hand. There was a COVID outbreak in last year, and it was not fun. I missed a couple events. I mean, and I had to quarantine, and I stayed until, and luckily it was a short one because I was able to get a negative COVID test on the last day that we were there. So I was able to go to a show, and it was just a mess. And I was still not great, but as long as I'm pushing negative, I didn't really care. I wanted to
As long as you're pushing negative.
I'm pushing negative. But yeah, so just stay. Lake Ann. Yeah, I see everybody going Lake Ann Park, Lake Ann Park, Lake Ann Park. All right, so that's all that I have for you guys. There's so many other different comments and stuff that are out here, and I hope that you guys are, feeding off of each other and getting the information. Just stay tuned, because they're going to announce the host hotel. They're going to announce these ticket prices, and once they do, you probably want to take advantage of it as soon as you possibly can, because I imagine that people are really, really curious as what's going to be going on with this particular celebration, because they announced it much in advance, and people might be actually able to come this time.
That's right.
So don't sleep on this. Don't sleep on this. Go. If you're on the fence, I can tell you, go. No matter what happens, even if the celebration, no, never mind. Here's what I tell you. You're going to have a good time no matter what happens. Even if you can't get tickets to the celebration, it's probably a good idea to just go ahead and come to Minneapolis, because there's so many external events that are happening during this time period, even stuff that is going to conflict with. There are plenty of times every single night of the celebration last year, there was something else that was going on at the same time as the celebration. That was, you were like, God, do we go to the celebration or do we go to this thing? Oh my God, there's so many things. Even if you can't go, you need to be in town.
That's right.
And again, stay in Bloomington, stay in Eden Prairie. Chanhassen's cool if you can get to the celebration. Don't stay in Chanhassen if you don't have tickets to the celebration. There's no need to be on that end of the world, because it's a good bit away from everything else. So Bloomington would be great. Somewhere near the Mall of America would be really, really cool, because you can drive everywhere pretty quickly.
Right.
Eden Prairie too. But
yeah, go there. You will have a good time. You will not run out of things to do. That's the point. It just doesn't matter. Just be there.
Yeah. So how is that for an entire 2-hour evening of information for us not knowing jack? It's not. We have a lot of information about what the celebration is, and I know a lot of the questions were coming from actual newbies and whatnot. So we wanted to make sure that we kind of filled in the details for you newbies and kind of hopefully give you some information that will help make your planning a little bit easier. If you have other questions, please make sure that you email us. Just reach out to us on Facebook. Again, if you're not following us, please make sure that you're following us. Look at top of Facebook.com/Funkatopia. If it still says follow, that means you're not following us. Please click on follow.
Press the button.
Press the button. It'll be really, really cool to break 34,000 before this week is out, which I think we're going to be able to do anyway. It's because we got 3,600 more followers in 1 week. So it doesn't make any sense. If we can get over 35,000 before the week is out, that'd be bad. So it'd be really cool. Anyways, we love you guys. A couple of closing notes. Yes, there are some more of these really, really cool Welcome to Funkatopia mugs that are going to be back in stock. I just ordered some, and each one of them is handmade. It's not just box of these mugs that I'm just taking out and putting in another box and sending to you. I literally get a mug and I make the mug for you. That's the reason every single mug is one of a kind. No two mugs are the same. It is not a machine spitting these out. These are handmade literally by me. So if you ordered a mug and you're getting a mug, it is handmade by me, and it's really, really good quality mug. It's not like you can't feel it. This is called sublimation. This is how they actually make mugs, but they actually use these massive machines that spit them out. But mine don't spit them out. I've got to actually make them one by one.
Because you thrive on efficiency.
Yes, that's not it at all. So if you want to order one, it's funkatopia.com/shop, funkatopia.com/shop. Yes, we actually have a website at funkatopia.com. It's a website that I promised I was going to be writing on more. I still have yet to write one post since I made that promise. It's only like this much time of the day. I'm making mugs, people.
I mean, come on, by hand.
Sanders asking, what about the Robin Powers Royal interview? yes, that is actually still on YouTube. It's on youtube.com. You should be able to see it on youtube.com. If you cannot, you can at least listen to the audio of it on all the broadcasts. So you can go to Spotify, you can go to iHeartRadio, you can go to Odyssey, AUDACY. You can go to any SoundCloud, you can go to any of those locations, and you can actually listen to the interview right now. You can go to Spotify and search for Funkatopia. You'll find us there, and all the shows and interviews, and you can listen live right there, but not live, but you can listen to the recording of it. The video, because we played so many different clips and stuff, we had to like edit out stuff, and it's a nightmare. It's just, I'm trying to edit it as best as I possibly can and push it out there, but it's just one of those things. Some people can, for some reason, some people can see it and some people can't. I don't know why that is. I'm working on it. But anyways, yes, Heidi just put up the link for the YouTube, so you can watch it there, or you can go to youtube.com/Funkatopia, FUNKATOPIA, click on the live tab, and you'll be able to see not only the Robin Powers interview, but also other interviews that we've done, Eric Leeds and everything else. And it's all there. So it'll be fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I hope we gave you a lot of information based on what little we have on this specific one. I'm sure there's another show coming in the near future once we get more of the details about some of the broadcast and whatnot, but we wanted to make sure that we got out here as early as we possibly could, since we just got this information about the show.
Right.
And again, if you need any answers whatsoever, if we have them, we'll give them to you. And as soon as we know something that is not made general public, we'll make sure we know that you know that too. So
right.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. I hope you guys had a great time. Jeff, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, the pottery thing, Lisa she cracked me up. She said, hand decorated, not pottered. And I didn't
say pottered.
She wrote pottered. Now, what I will say, Chris, they don't understand. They don't understand that Chris does sit behind the pottery thing, and just like Ghost, I'm right behind him holding it.
Each mug is made with love. You should see Jeff make those handles when he's like rolling it out. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, he can make some money on OnlyFans with that. Just with that skill set alone. I'm telling you.
Hands.
OnlyFans.com/Jeff Page. I'm telling you. He's making those handles for these mugs. I'm telling you. Yeah, you've never seen it. It's masterful.
It's masterful.
Anyways. All right. Good night, everyone. I hope you had a great time. We'll see ya. Good night.
Hey.
Arr, arr, arr.